What's up, guys? Today we're gonna talk about. Oh, I already fucked up. Fuck. What's up, guys? This is the Cristian podcast starring Sonic Knight 20, me, and Cristian Inferno. And today we're gonna talk about secret societies and forests and other stuff like that. So I'm gonna give it over to Cristian.
What do you think about all the forests around the United States?
I know I don't want to be there. Other than that, not much.
I feel like people don't realize that there's actually a lot of forests that are still here, even though there's a lot that were torn down, unfortunately. But there's a lot of like wooded areas, and I feel like with wooded areas, especially big ones, there's so much like mystery, you know, tied behind them. Pretty much all of them, really. Like if you live near like a highly dense wooded area or something like that, I feel like there's always stories. Like Red River Gorge, I know there's always stories of stuff happening, and especially if you go like, you know, North Dakota where Yellowstone is, I know there's always stuff going on there. Or even just if we're talking about nature, you know, you go to like Arizona, New Mexico, you know, out southwest type of stuff. You know, there's just a bunch of caves and you know, canyons and just stuff like you get lost and you can end up in weird places, and like they find underground cities and all sorts of stuff. So that kind of ties into, there was a story that I read where it was kind of like, it was I guess technically I didn't read it. It was an audio book where it was this guy saying he actually had a interview with a reptilian, and there was a bunch of stuff that was kind of interesting in it, and it was like, you know, some caves and old mines and stuff like that, and stuff that I've seen in like a bunch of movies and other things and different media, where you'll be in like a cave and you press a rock in and then it opens up to a wall and opens up like the elevator. You've seen stuff like that before, haven't you, in movies, stuff like that?
Yeah, you see that a lot.
Yeah, and they were saying that that's how you would get down to like their bases, and they have bases all throughout the underneath the ground. And then like there's, you know, a bunch of songs, like there's a song by Tom Waits called Underground, and I always thought that's kind of interesting. And it's interesting that there's a bunch of theories about stuff that's underground, and people are saying that the United States government has like an entire training facility and like a pipeline where they have like bases underground that run from like west coast to east coast, and if something happens they could literally get anywhere like without any traffic, because they have like a whole tunnel and road system underneath the ground. And it wouldn't be far-fetched if they had that, and who's to say that all that stuff isn't connected? And the United States government works with like secret societies that live underground that are, you know,
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
yeah, terrarian or whatever the word for somebody who lives underground would be. You know,
I don't even know.
I don't know the exact. I'll just call them mole people. Because, you know, Incredibles 2 is coming out soon. So shout out that. But, you know, there could be mole people living underneath the ground, and there's a bunch of weird stuff that is out there. Because, you know, I read stuff all the time. It's like, if you think about it, we're kind of like ghosts that are controlling skeletons with meat on them on a rock that is spinning and flying through space at like a very rapid pace. At that, too, you know. Like, if you think about it like that, and I know it's kind of like, that's kind of like a joke, like, but if you break it down and really think about it, it's not too far from like, it's pretty basic, and that's pretty much what it is if you want to look at it that way.
It's basic, but it's also kind of sounds more over the top than we're used to hearing.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of crazy that you can go and look at temples that are in all different parts of the world, and how all these temples that, you know, are in different continents and they weren't supposed to be able to have any contact with each other at all share very similar designs and have details that are, you know,
heard about that.
You know, there are details that are like, wow, all these have that same, like, detail. Like, all these have that same thing that's pointing southwest or something like that at a certain degree or something like that. And it's like, there's no way that's a coincidence that those all share similarities that specific, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think that's coincidence at all.
And they find, you know, I know they found, like, I believe it's in Arizona, but they found in a canyon, you know, a bunch of houses basically, you know, dug into the canyon, and people were living inside of the walls of a giant canyon.
What the fuck?
And even though I said canyon like 7 times throughout that little statement, but I know they found people were living in the walls there, and there was a bunch of different stuff. And like, that was the whole society. And that's pretty interesting. And they find stuff like that everywhere, you know. They find underground cities and underground labyrinths, you know, a bunch of different places.
Yeah, those people are just going about their day, just living in walls like it's an everyday common thing.
Yeah, they were long gone by the time we discovered it, but there was a society at some point that was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that doesn't surprise me, but like, I want to know why they're living like that.
Well, like, I guess I believe they had reasons. I don't remember the specific reasons that they lived there, and I think there was like settlers that even met them, and they helped the settlers and stuff like that. I forget the whole, you know, story behind it, but it's kind of funny how, you know, we have like sonar technology, but it like doesn't do anything. Like, at the end of the day, like, why wouldn't we sonar everything and just see what is behind, what is, I don't know, underneath us?
I mean, they'll probably tell you that we do that, but just don't find anything. But obviously that's not true.
You go on TV shows and stuff like that, and like, there's mounds that are, especially like in Mexico and Central and South America, with Incas and Aztecs, and you know, they had a bunch of different weird structures they made. And there's hella structures that they'll go and be like, we can't let, the government there won't let us excavate it, so we don't really know what's underneath it, and all this stuff. Is like, we have sonar technology. Like, why don't you just look that way,
exactly.
Instead of being like, yeah, we can't really do anything. And it's like, really?
Yeah, it's like, you have the technology to search this.
I feel like they find stuff, they already look at everything and they find stuff, and they're like, alright, well, we're going to even throw this on TV, and we're going to be like, yeah, there's probably nothing there. We can't really get any tests done because we're not allowed to do tests. And then they make it to like where people know what it is, because they know that they have to tell people what's there, but they don't have to. They have to show people what's there, but they don't have to tell them that that's actually what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they'll be like, yeah, this is this, but we don't know. And then actually they know exactly what it is, and they're like, well, we're just gonna say that this is it, so they know that's there. So technically, we're not being shady.
There was that area in Mexico that shuts off all of every technology. Like, nothing works there. Like, it's like this one area in Mexico. I forget what it was called, but just nothing works there at all, and no one knows why. No one has any idea why at all. No one has figured out even the slightest clue. And I was just like, no one has figured out anything at all yet? Like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah,
And that's the
stuff like
stuff that I
that.
find suspicious.
Yeah, we have like stuff like the Devil's Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle and a bunch of different things where just weird stuff happens all the time, and they're literally famous because ships go in there, or planes
Yeah.
go in there and disappear, and then they're never even seen
Oh,
from again.
something's definitely up
Like,
with the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know what the fuck's up with that place.
yeah, it's so weird. It's like the ocean itself, like the fact that we just throw so much plastic and pollute the ocean, but yet the ocean's so big and there's so much stuff. Like we literally know like 0% about it. I think we know more about the moon than we do our own oceans.
I think we do. Like, honestly, I think we might. We don't know shit about the ocean, really. No, we've only explored what? Like, we've explored, like, fucking... Have we even explored 10% of the ocean? Like,
Yeah,
we've barely explored
a lot of water
anything.
on this planet.
Yeah, like, we've barely explored anything. And there's stuff like, stuff that... I forget what they're called, the things that pick up noise underwater. Like, they've picked up super loud noises that echoed across, like, the entire Pacific Ocean. And it's just like, what could have possibly made a noise like that? That it triggered, like, that far away. Like, that it triggered the detector thing. It's just interesting.
The thing about, you know, even there's probably gigantic animals that we never even seen or heard of, but the fact that it's so big and goes down so far, that the chances of us even running into something, even if it's gigantic and there's a lot of them, the chances of us running into it are still
very
like,
slow.
extremely small. Because, you know, you have a ship's like a pin mark in the ocean. It's not even a pin mark. It's literally like a speck of dust onto the ocean.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, a speck of dust running into, you know, a pin mark, it's like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, what's the chances?
Yeah, the ocean goes down, you know, farther than Mount Everest at one point, and then it spreads, you know, crazy.
And we haven't been to the lowest part of the ocean yet. Like,
it's because the pressure.
Yeah, but I never understood, because I always felt like, why can't we get someone to go on a trip that lasts a couple days, they have food and shit, and why don't they just make something that's super pressure resistant, like it pretty much can't be broken, like it's like fucking like titanium submarine, and just go down there.
We made it into outer space. Like, we're in outer space right now. If we're in outer space, how can we not go to the bottom of our Earth? Like, really?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, they're like, well, the pressure would kill you. Like, yeah, obviously, but I don't get why we can't make something to just withstand pressure. We've been to the fucking moon. Like, I don't think that would be that hard, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I understand it because it's a whole thing, but, you know, I've been reading, they've been, you know, like on National Geographic and stuff like that, just bringing attention to how polluted our world is, and it's kind of crazy to think that we literally have destroyed this planet. You know, people have been around for so long, and people have probably been around a lot longer than we even realize.
Yeah.
And, you know, just recently, we've completely shit on the world and destroyed it, basically.
We pretty much fucked the planet. But that's what we've gotten used to.
For so long. It was literally fine for so long, and then we come along and we're like, hey, let's just mess with everything. It's like, okay. Good idea.
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking about, like, back with, like, Pangea and shit, or whatever it was called, like, when all the Earth was connected, we fucked this planet, like, completely. But, I mean, it could be worse, according to, like, you know, Stephen Hawking and people like that.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. It's like, wow, our planet's pretty much gonna die but it's gonna probably take a very long time.
Yeah, I think it'll take. I don't think we're nearing the end of the like Earth being unable to sustain us. I think the Earth has a lot of. There's still a lot of Earth left. Like we haven't completely taken over the Earth. Like
Yeah,
there's a
just
lot of
look
it
at
left.
Russia. Like Siberia is gigantic.
Isn't Russia like mostly like uncharted still?
Yeah, Siberia I know is part of it. Like
Place is
there's a bunch of
huge.
like no man's land that people don't even like. People pretty much like act like it's
Like it's not
not even
there.
there. Yeah, it's like Russia really, the parts that people live in, Russia's like a small country if you consider it's the parts that people live in.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Russia's fucking huge. Like I really wish. And there's been like people that say they've seen mammoths and shit in Siberia. And I was just thinking, like, I mean, if you're gonna see a mammoth anywhere, Siberia's probably where you'd see one.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I know
never know.
that I never really understood it because maps are pretty much, yeah, all those maps that they make are really skewed and not really to scale. But from what I've heard, Antarctica is actually very, very big. Like it's
Yeah,
very big.
Antarctica's probably very like not explored. Also, didn't even think about it really.
Yeah, I mean it's cold, yeah.
Yeah, no one can really like explore that place. Like, I mean, who wants to explore Antarctica anyway? No one wants to do that.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stuff, and there's probably a lot of stuff that could tell us a lot. And I believe they do probably explore it a lot, and they just don't tell people what they find.
Yeah, or they're like really small, like unimportant people, so people kind of just don't listen. Like you just kind of don't hear about it. I don't know. Cause there's probably a lot of species in these areas. Like I'm 100% certain that there's species in Russia we haven't found. There's probably species in Antarctica we haven't found. I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
damn cold
And
that
there are
we
even
can't be
jungles
there.
that aren't completely charted. Like Papua New Guinea, a lot of that land's uncharted. Some land in Australia that are rainforest, uncharted. I know there's some Congo in the Congo rainforest that are uncharted. I'm sure some like in Argentina and Brazil and you know the Amazon. Obviously, if it's a forest like that, there's a lot of spots that people have not checked. You know?
Yeah. I feel like these areas
Or
people just
there's
don't
a
care
lot
to
of
go
people
there.
that have stepped, but they never made it out to say what they stepped on. You know.
Yeah, that very well could be why either. I mean,
That's why I like movies like Indiana Jones so much. And people hated on Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
oh
But that was
yeah.
honestly probably one of my favorite ones because I like the idea, you know. I'm sure there's some weird stuff going on in South America. They literally
Yeah.
made, you know, animals that can only be from the sky in incredible detail. You know, why would they make that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
really
liked the
makes no
movie when I
sense.
saw it, but that's kind of off topic how good the movie was, but like, people said that movie was terrible, but I don't know. I liked it. Thought it was alright.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, just like the whole thing, you know, there's so many different secret societies and our government being part of secret societies, and they're actually pretty open about it, so it's not really secret. Like they're pretty open. They're like, oh yeah, what about this? And then they're like, but it's not what it is. And it's like, okay, you can say that, but it's
Yeah.
it is what everybody thinks it is.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask. This is way back on the reptilian thing. Why are they called reptilians? What's reptilian about them? Like, where does that come in? Because I don't really get it.
Just reptile isn't have features that lizards have, I guess.
Uh,
You know, scales, cold blood,
but how do
stuff like
people, like, how would that be secret though? Like, we would realize that right away.
well, if they have everything, yeah, I'm not an expert on the topic, but some of them they say have literally shape-shifting properties, and it's like, have you ever seen the movie They Live? If you have,
I don't think
if
I've ever
somebody
seen
has
that.
shape-shifting properties, and that's kind of like what that is, you know, there's things that are in plain sight of us, but if we know what we're looking at, or we know what we're looking for, or we believe in that stuff, then we could see through, disguise or see through stuff that's not there. You know, if somebody puts if somebody puts a spell on you, and if a magician has an illusion that they're using, you know, you're gonna see something because the magician's good at what they do. But if you know what the magician's, you know, joke is, or what the magician's, you know, whatever they call what their
What their
illusion
trick is, yeah.
yeah, what their trick is, then you're gonna be able to see what they're doing. You're gonna be able to see through it, and then you're gonna be like, I can see it. So maybe if you know what to look for and what you're looking at, you can easily probably spot them out of the crowd.
Yeah, that's how the supposed men in black are. Like, if you know what you're looking for, you know exactly when you find one.
Yeah, and I feel like those are probably, you know, entangled and probably one and the same.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, they probably
then you
have
have
like
stuff
similar
like,
sightings.
Yeah, you have stuff that if you've ever like listened to or watched a video or read anything with H.P. Lovecraft, there's a whole big like thing about all the creatures that H.P. Lovecraft made up and said like lived on Earth and the history of Earth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know
And
how he comes up with that
it's pretty
shit.
crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
The stuff because stuff he came up with was in such detail. You would think he'd seen these things himself. Like, it's pretty I mean, it was to the point where people literally thought Cthulhu was real. Like, because his books were just so convincing.
Well, who's to say, you know?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows if H.P. Lovecraft knew something we didn't.
Yeah.
Far-fetched,
Yeah,
but still.
And thanks for listening, guys. This has been another episode of the Christian Night Podcast. Thanks for commenting and liking and subscribing. Anybody that does that, we seriously appreciate it. Appreciate any support that you can give to us. Thanks for listening. Be on the lookout for new episodes.
Yeah, coming soon.
We're not too good with keeping track of it and having a schedule, but you already know that if you listen.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah, one of these days we'll get it down packed, you know. But
Yeah.
thanks for listening.
See you guys.
See y'all.